Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning. Hope you guys had a nice weekend.
Good morning. That's that drum beat. That's that drum beat. Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond.
Do you believe what you just said? You're talking about Andre Drummond as the savior of the Lakers.
Yeah, that's all we needed.
I can't wait
That's
to
all
talk
we needed.
about this.
That's all we needed.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was a good line.
I told you your day was coming. I said, Skip, your day coming.
Lakers.
It has come to this
It's
for
here.
you.
He is coming. We will get to that, I promise, guys. And I'm very much looking forward to what you both have to say about it. But we do have to begin with some NFL news because the NFL draft order, it got shaken up over the weekend thanks to a couple of trades. So let me break it down. First, the 49ers traded up from 12th to number 3 from the Dolphins. That also cost San Francisco 2 future first-round picks and a third. Shortly after that, the Dolphins then swapped that 12th pick with the Eagles for their 6th overall selection and a 5th-round pick. And then Miami also gave up a future first-round pick along with a 4th-rounder to Philly. So, simply put, it is now Niners at 3, Dolphins at 6, Eagles at 12. Shannon, what is going on here?
Well, I like what the Niners did, Skip. It tells me they're in position to get a quarterback, and they felt that where they were sitting at the 12th spot, they were not going to get a player that they wanted. But they also picked up a first and a third round in the process of doing this. So they got to feel good with where they are, Skip. Miami picked up a first and third. But the 49ers, it tells me Jimmy G is not in their long term. Now, Skip, he might be in their immediate future. He might even get a start this year. He might play some this year. But it tells me they're going up to get a quarterback. Now, everybody believes that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first quarterback off the board. Everybody's oohing and ahhing about Zach Wilson pro day. But if you go back and look at it, I have not seen a quarterback in the last 20 years have a bad pro day except Teddy Bridgewater, and that's because he played his whole career with gloves, and all of a sudden he wanted to be without a glove. So other than that, every quarterback looks good. Hell, ain't nobody rushing you. You're throwing the guys that you know. They diagrammed exactly what you're going to be good at on that particular day. So I'm not surprised. But the 49ers going up tells me they want a quarterback. Miami, now, when they moved all the way back to 12, I was like, okay, they sitting pretty. But Skip, but when they come back up to 6, it tells me they have someone else in mind also that they believe. Is Jamar Chase what they're looking at? Is a Kyle Pitts, is that someone they're looking at? Is Penei Sewell, is that somewhere they're looking at? It tells me, Skip, they're still in prime position to get not a quarterback, but get a player. Skip, 12 is really kind of like 12, 15, and that's kind of like no man's land. Yeah, you can get good value. You can find a great player in there. But normally, you really want the guys that's in that top 10, and now they position themselves. They move up. They give up one of those first-round picks, but they still got a first and a third that they got from the San Francisco 49ers. I like Skip. I'm trying to read the tea leaves. I'm like, okay, they did this. Are they trying to build around Tua? Do they still feel they can get a quarterback at 6? Mac Jones? Is someone going to fall? Is somebody? So I'm trying to figure it out, but I can't. But I do know this. When they moved up from 12 to 6, it told me they still have an eye on someone that they potentially believe could be there, and they can go get it. So maybe it's one of those receivers. Now, I don't know if Kyle Pitts, that tight end, is going to be there. But, Skip, it's hard for me to believe that if Kyle Pitts is sitting on that board at 6, the Miami Dolphins pass him up. So I like what they've done, but I love what the 49ers did. They have an idea. One of those quarterbacks, Fields or Zach Wilson, will be there. And it seems to me, because they didn't move from, 12 to 2, it says, you know what? Yeah, we like Zach Wilson, but you know what? We'll take Fields. Yeah, we like Fields, but if he's not there, we'll take Wilson. I love what the 49ers did. I love what the Dolphins did. I don't know what the hell the Eagles are doing.
Okay, I'm going to start with your first statement, and then I'll go down the line.
Okay.
You love what the San Francisco 49ers did.
Yes, because they believe their quarterback is the missing link.
The harder I look at what the 49ers did, the less I like it. It boggles my mind. I don't see the plan. I don't get it. You realize they just mortgaged their whole future to go from 12, not to 2, but just to 3. Okay?
Right.
So they gave up. Obviously, they're going to swap the picks in the first round.
Right.
But then they gave up a first and a third in 2022 and a first in 2023 to move up 9 spots from 12 to 3. To get what? Because the problem is, if they had given all that to go to 2, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they didn't. So they're going to be beholding to the Jets. They're going to have to take leftovers. They're going to have to wait and see what the Jets do at 2, unless they have such reconnaissance that they know what the Jets are going to do.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. We might have the same grade on those 2 players. So we're not upset if we get Fields or we get Zach Wilson. Because if we have the exact same grade, what are we missing out on?
Okay, but that's such a reach for me. And again, I'm on record. After Trevor Lawrence, I don't see a slam dunk. I don't see a guaranteed cinch franchise quarterback after that. I have my doubts about all the rest of them. And the more and harder I look at Mac Jones, the more I must admit he's growing on me because I read all the second and third level stats, and they're just off the charts.
He's very polished.
He's very polished, but he had a track team of receivers. He had 2 more first-rounders this year, obviously. He had a first-round back catching passes and obviously running for him. And he had a thoroughbred offensive line ahead of him that's stocked with potential first-round picks.
Yes.
So I don't know how much to discount his year. But if you just look at the numbers, they are extraordinary. They're beyond Joe Burrow numbers from a year ago.
They were.
They're beyond Kyler numbers from 2 years ago.
They were.
And it's hard to say no to that because you say, well, he's not that athletic. But I watched him a lot. And when he needs to move, he moves okay.
Right.
He can hurt you enough to make you at least honor his ability to run a little bit.
Right.
Okay, so I immediately thought, is it possible that the head coach that you watched grow up in your locker room, Kyle Shanahan, obviously the son of your coach, Mike Shanahan, is it possible he fell so in love with Mac Jones that he said, I got to go get him? Well, if that gets out, if that's the signal sent, then the Jets are so they're so tied to public opinion that they sway with the wind in New York City with the back page headlines. That if all of a sudden the tabloids start screaming that, the 49ers have moved up to take Mac Jones, will that encourage the Jets then to say, well, maybe we should be thinking about Mac Jones, right?
Well, Skip, if your evaluators don't have it, you can't just take somebody because somebody else wants him. That might be a situation.
But it seems like the Jets always do what the public says they should do.
Well, that's what happens when you're in New York.
Okay, it happens. It happens. So I agree with you about Zach Wilson's pro day. Listen, I'll go back to... I'll go all the way back to Kyle, as I nicknamed him. Kyle, I should have been a bowler.
Right.
He sat on his knees at the 50-yard line and threw it between the uprights, and everybody said, oh, my God.
Right.
Here he is. Here's the next savior of the Ravens.
Correct.
No, he was not.
No.
Then I go to Alex Smith's pro day. Standing ovation because not a single ball hit the ground, and he turned out to be okay. Just okay, but not a life changer, right? And then Sam Darnold, a guy you liked, it was in the rain at USC, his pro day. I'm pretty sure not a ball hit the ground, and I can't remember if he got an ovation, but they were raving about Sam Darnold's pro day.
And Jamarcus Russell threw it 82 yards.
He threw it 82 yards. It just doesn't matter. Johnny Manziel lit up his pro day. In fact,
with the former president,
Bush Sr. was there, right? And they cranked up the music, the rap music, and they were just killing it, right? Just killing it. And it mattered none. Right? Okay, so we got that. So I'm still not sold on Zach Wilson, but I must admit I didn't watch enough, except I did watch the Coastal Carolina game. And I know they got sort of thrown into the fire in it, and it was a crazy COVID situation, and they had to go play there. And he didn't knock me over. I watched more of the highlights, and yeah, he's got a live arm, and he's much more athletic than Zach, than Mac Jones is. Okay. So now we're back to the 49ers. You gave up everything. You mortgaged your whole future for a pick that is dependent upon what the Jets do. And I just don't love that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think if the circulation that's swirling around Deshaun Watson?
Okay, I thought hard about Deshaun. Okay, I thought, is it possible that they wanted to improve this year's draft haul by saying, hey, Houston, we have the 3rd overall pick, and we'll get you all the way to 3 for Deshaun.
Right.
Okay, but they mortgage their whole future, and I would think Houston would want more of their future than their current. Right?
Yeah, because they don't have anything. So basically, do you want the 3rd pick, Jimmy Garoppolo, this year's 2?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Has the value somewhat decreased given the set of circumstances that surround Deshaun Watson?
Sure. I would think so. I mean, now what are we up to? 16 lawsuits filed, civil suits?
Right.
And it was written that the 15th was the most damaging of the allegations. For what it's worth, they're just allegations.
Correct.
But again, the magnitude, the
sheer volume of the women.
The sheer volume could be a tough sell for your fandom. So I'm not sure where they're headed. That they have fallen in love with somebody, but if you told me it was 2, I would get 2. So now here's what's about to happen. So if the Jets and 49ers do take a quarterback, well, that leaves the Falcons with either, let's say Mac Jones does go that high. That's the only reason you would go that high to get him, to me. Well, that would leave Fields and Trey Lance for Atlanta. And that would leave somebody maybe again for the Dolphins. So they could be saying, we'll take the leftover at 6. Somebody's going to be left at number 6 if, in fact, they want somebody. Right? Well, would you really want the leftover of those first 4 quarterbacks? Would you really want to just wait and see what fell to you?
Well, the question is, Skip, is like what you do. Okay, you have a grade. You watch film. You watch this pro day, even though pro day should be the least of the concerns for you. I mean, what does the tape say, and what does your evaluators, the scouts, your personnel people, what's the grade they have? Skip, it might be a situation where it's Trevor Lawrence, and then everybody else has very similar grades. So you're not disappointed. If I get Trey Lance, I'm happy. If I get Zach Wilson, I'm happy. If I get Justin Fields, I'm happy. If I get Mac Jones. So, Skip, if the grades are very, very similar, and what I've done is that I've moved back. And I've accomplished, I got a 1st and a 3rd for me moving back.
Okay.
I'm not disappointed. But I'm still going to get a great player because, like you said, at 4, sitting Atlanta, a lot of people believe Atlanta's going to take a quarterback. So now Miami's sitting there like, well, hey, we could take a tackle. We could take Kyle Pitts if he's there. We could take Chase. We could take Devontae Smith. We got we sitting pretty.
What I believe Miami did was it cost them next year's 1st and this year's 4th to move up 6 spots from 12 back into the fray at 6.
Right.
If, in fact, they're going forward with Tua, which I believe, and I've told you from the start, that's a mistake.
Right.
You still love him. I don't.
Okay.
But if you're going forward with him, you better maximize his ability to survive and succeed.
Right.
And to do so, you better take whichever receiver you have ranked highest on your board who's left.
Right.
I just got to believe the Bengals will take Kyle Pitts. I've told you from the start, he's the best non-quarterback in the draft.
Okay.
So that would leave possibly Devontae Smith, who obviously Tua is close with and connected with a lot back in his Alabama day. So it would make the most sense to give him somebody he's comfortable with and who dominated college football the way I've never seen a receiver dominate college football.
But think about this, Skip. Miami moves back from 3 to 12 with 49ers, and they swap positions, and they get 2022 and 23 first-rounder.
Yep.
They move, then Miami moves up, and all they had to do was give up 1 first-rounder.
Okay, they're fine. They got they have Fort Knox of draft picks.
And that wasn't even their pick, Skip. That's the Houston Texans pick. They should say, Houston, you want your pick back?
Okay.
Give us the shot.
Okay, well, that would still be in play for them. So that leads us back to the team now at 12, Philadelphia. Philly just said, okay, we're out.
We definitely rebuild.
We concede, we go backwards.
Yes.
That tells me that it's Jalen Hurts or bust for them, and I'm good with that. I still believe in him more than you believed in him. But all I said was on draft day of a year ago, he can play quarterback better than Carson Wentz can play quarterback. He will perform better, and I think we saw early flashes of that for what had become a bad team when he took it over. So I'm happy for Jalen Hurts that they are going forward, and they'll just sit at 12 unless they want to move again.
Right.
But they'll sit at 12 and just say, we'll take best available and see how fast we can
Carson Wentz is sitting back and said, well, hell, why the hell y'all put some pieces around me? Now, next year, the Eagles could have 3 first-round picks with playtime incentives because, remember, Skip, they got that first-round pick from Miami.
They did.
If Carson Wentz meets his incentives, they get their first-round pick of the Colts. Okay. So they're sitting good. But, Skip, man, look here. They're going to have to do a lot of building. They're going to have to do a remodeling for this offense to look presentable to people that's watching in the stands and for people watching at home. Because you say, okay, we're going forward with Jalen Hurts. With what? With what? You're trying to move Zach Ertz. Dallas Goedert has been nicked. That offensive line has gotten old and battered. Everybody's had surgery at some point in time.
It does not look good for Jalen Hurts, except for the fact that he now seems to be the man in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll still buy into that. That brings us back to San Francisco, and what is their strategy here? And again, it's possible they want somebody. They want Kyle Pitts. You know, I don't know what they're.
Not when they got George. Now they got Kittle.
Well, I'm just saying whether you want to strengthen your strength.
Right.
Okay, so the point is, what does that say for Jimmy G at this point? Do they need him as a bridge quarterback? Right. They swear they're going to stand by him, and that and that and 2 cents will buy you a cup of coffee. Right?
I ain't buying that. $3 for $1, Skip.
Okay, so the point is, it's possible they want Jimmy just as a bridge quarterback. Right. It's also possible they want to trade Jimmy G.
27, a lot of million for a bridge, Skip.
It's a lot of million, and it's also potentially too many million for the Patriots to fit under their cap.
Well, but they probably have to restructure that.
A lot.
Yes.
Because
they got 14 right now. They're about 14 million under the cap. Somehow they would have to restructure that to get that number down to less than 10.
So I warned you when Belichick went on his cash splash, his spending spree, it's possible you're spending your way into quarterback purgatory because you're going to hamper your ability then to go get a quarterback of magnitude, because clearly they signed Cam to another bargain basement deal for 1 year.
Correct.
As just a holdover sort of quarterback to get you through the night. So to me, on Jimmy G, I'm not sure they can fit him under unless he took far less. And maybe he would. Maybe they could figure out a way, we need you, you need us, kind of a thing, or you're going to be on the outs with the 49ers.
Right.
It's also possible Belichick could just wait them out and hope they cut Jimmy G, but I don't think they'll cut him.
Skip, Coach Belichick, look at, hold on. I gave y'all a bargain basement deal to get Jimmy G.
Yep.
Now return the favor, pay it forward.
Yeah, all they paid was a 2.
Yeah, exactly. So pay it forward.
That was out of spite to me. He said, I'll just give him away.
Right.
Because he was forced to.
Right. So that was, what, 2-3 years ago, Skip?
2017, yeah.
Yeah, so what they'll do is Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch will probably say, okay, Coach, you can have him for a 5th.
Maybe. Okay, but then it's a matter of
now you got to make the money work. Now you got to make the money work under the cap.
I'm not sure about that. And again, there were early speculation that one of those quarterbacks would fall to 15. I just don't see it.
I don't see it now. I don't see it.
I think 5 quarterbacks, is it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will go in the first 9. I think 2 receivers plus Pitts, who's sort of a hybrid tight end, but Chase and Devontae Smith will go. So that gets you to 8 plus the offensive lineman at Oregon, so that's 9. And that leaves for my Dallas Cowboys Patrick Surtain, who I think they've been sitting on from the start.
Right.
So that's the way it would shake out in the top 10.
Yeah, the teams travel to go up and get a quarterback. If that's the one player, teams will move heaven and earth. We saw what Andy Reid did to go get Patrick Mahomes. We've seen what teams will do. They will mortgage their teams will mortgage their entire future for that position because he is the most important. If you get him, Skip, I can build anything else. I can do anything else. It's kind of like when you show a house, Skip, the most important is what, Skip? The mama want the kitchen.
Yep.
The kitchen, what the kitchen look like? She's out the first place she had.
Yep.
Because that in the kitchen and your bedroom. Come on. Where are we going to spend the most of our time? Well, the quarterback. Who's the guy that's going to spend the most of the time with the ball?
Yep.
So he's the most important. So teams will mortgage. So There's no, even if Mac Jones is not gone off the board at 10, there could be a potential of somebody traveling up to 10, 11, or 12. You can't automatically assume, he out of the top 10. We sitting at 15. He gonna fall in our lap.
No,
you can't assume that.
He will not. So as much as I like John Lynch personally, I don't know Kyle Shanahan the way you do, but from a distance, I like him a lot personally. They better be right about this because they just bet it all. They just pushed all their chips into the middle for what? They got to wait on the Jets. And unless they are playing chess to everybody else's checkers, unless they have an ace up their sleeve that I'm not seeing here, I don't love it. It was way too much to spend for something that is still murky, that they can't control.
They believe that their running game, the defense is going to get Broussard back. They're going to get some of these injured stars back.
I don't have any doubt about the rest of it.
So that's the thing, Skip. They believe. He's like, hold on. Look what I was doing with Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard. Look what I did with Jimmy G. You mean to tell me if you give me one of these top quarterbacks, even though it's not Trevor Lawrence, so you give me a Zach Wilson, a Justin Fields, or a Mac Jones, Trey Lance, you mean to tell me I can't do just as good, if not better, than what I did with Jimmy G? A guy that can't stay healthy and is injury-prone out the yin-yang. That's one thing Jimmy G will do. Besides getting hurt, is turn the football over.
So all San Francisco did was assure itself that it can have the pick of the quote-unquote litter that's left, right? The Jets get the first pick of it, and then they get what's left, right? And you bet 3 first-round picks to do that? I don't get it.
The question is, Skip, of these quarterbacks, do you trust? I trust Kyle Shanahan to take a quarterback because I've seen what he's done with that position.
Well, you could be right. Maybe you're just thinking, I don't care. Whoever falls to me, I'll just take him and I'll make him a star.
But he's like, I gotta get one. I gotta get high enough to be able to get one of these guys. Sitting at 12, Skip, wasn't going to get it done. And he didn't want to run the risk of somebody zooming. I mean, Skip, that's a lot. And there ain't no question about it. That is an awful lot. But Miami was like, hell yeah, we'll do that deal.
You got that right.
For a first, we gonna pick up an extra first and a third when we trade, even when we trade back with Philly. Yeah.
So Miami's got it made over the next 3 years, except for the quarterback. He better be what you think he is.
No, he better be what they think he is. When they said, you know what we're gonna do, Skip? They said Skip Bayless is right. He did have a track team around him. He had a lot of great guys. So let's put that track team around him again. But, Skip, let's not pretend Trevor Lawrence didn't have outstanding receivers and running backs.
Completely agree.
Now, you want to take Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson probably didn't have the exact same thing that a Tua, Mac Jones, and Trevor Lawrence.
Nor did he play their schedules.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence had some 4- and 5-star wide receivers also.
I agree.
Yeah. Can't deny that. All right, we are exactly a month away from the draft, so April 29th. It's coming up quick, and will be plenty more to talk about. Until then, no mercy. The Clippers are said to be interested in DeMarcus Cousins. The Lakers and the Nets both added their own big men in the buyout market over the weekend. LaMarcus Aldridge signed with the Nets and will join forces with Harden, Kyrie, and Katie after being bought out by the Spurs. And meanwhile, Andre Drummond joined LeBron James at the Lakers in L.A. after his contract was bought out by the Cavs. Frank Vogel said he believed the Lakers got, quote, a lot better with the signing. So, Shannon, do you agree? Is Drummond the missing piece to the Lakers championship puzzle?
Frank Vogel said they're in a heap of trouble. A heap, a considerable amount, a large amount, an abundance, a trouble is what the NBA is in. If, now a caveat, Goat James and Baby Goat come back healthy, that big front line is formidable. Because we got a guy that can score better than Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, especially at Dwight at this age. We got a guy that can rebound better than JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard at this age. We got a guy that can rim protect just as good. Big body, can bang with Yoke, can bang with Nurkic. That's what we needed. Oh, y'all like Serge, you like Zubats? Come see us. Anybody you throw at us. I've been waiting on this moment.
Wait, how about DeMarcus Cousins? I think might join the Clippers any minute now.
DeMarcus Cousins, first cousin, second cousin, don't matter. Y'all ain't coming to the picnic. It's over. It's everything but the shouting. Skip, I have seen the prize. My eyes on the prize now. All I'm doing is counting down days until which Goat James is healthy, until Baby Goat is healthy. And then we get this matchup together. This was a match made in basketball heaven. I told you this. I said, if we get that guy, Guy average giving you, hold on, he was giving us 18 and 14. Had a 30-20 game, had a 20-20 game against these very Lakers. And when LeBron went for 46, and LeBron didn't go crazy, Drummond, they would have won that game. But this is what we need is Skip. We got a guy that's going to give us plenty of second chance opportunities. He can protect the rim, and he's a scorer. We give the ball down to him, he's going to get a shot. LaMarcus Aldridge only good against the Lakers. You seen that he had one good game this year, and that was the game that he came back against the Lakers. That's it. Giving you 4 rebounds a game, really? Laughing at you. I'm laughing at you because I know what's about to happen now. Now we got to clear these protocols. You know, he's been away from last game was February the 12th, so we need to know. You know, and I don't need to know. I know where. The league needs to know where have you been, what have you been doing, have you traveled out of the country, all that.
Yeah.
Skip. Say it with me. 2021 NBA champs.
Yeah. Really? So, are you ready to give me the field versus the Lakers?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No.
You just said that's the missing piece to the championship puzzle.
Hold on, Skip. You done got 2 teams. I ain't got with one team. You trying to take the Nets in the East and the Clippers in the West. You get one team.
Well, there are 2 conferences.
No,
right?
you don't get that.
So I've got Clippers over Nets in the final, and I'm sticking to it. I said it from the start. As soon as the Harden trade was made, kaboom, I said, I got this.
No, you don't got this. Like you always tell me, you don't got this.
So help me out here. More valuable player right now, LaMarcus Aldridge or Andre Drummond?
Andre Drummond.
In a vacuum, not to the Lakers.
Andre Drummond is a better player right now than LaMarcus Aldridge.
I know LaMarcus Aldridge. He just quit on the Spurs because they quit on him this year, so he wasn't even trying to play because he knew he was going to be a buyout candidate. It's what would have happened if Andre Drummond had been allowed to keep playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He just gives up because he's like, I'm out of here anyway. No,
Andre Drummond was playing, Skip. He was giving you 20. He was giving you 18 and 14.
Okay, but they shut him down.
Yes.
Okay. LaMarcus Aldridge is a better basketball player than Andre Drummond. He's a much better scorer. Listen, when LaMarcus Aldridge gets going from about 15 feet, he is absolutely lethal.
35.
Does Andre Drummond have that? No, he doesn't have any of that.
One guy's 35, the other guy's 28.
LaMarcus can still play at a high level, and he can rim protect much better than Andre Drummond can rim protect.
No.
I'm talking about IQ, basketball IQ. That's not what Andre Drummond can do. I will give you the rebounding, but don't underestimate LaMarcus Aldridge, he's averaged 11 and 10 rebounds in 2 different years in his career. So he can rebound at a high. Wait, one guy's 6'11", that's LaMarcus Aldridge, and 6'10" is your guy, Andre Drummond.
Skip, you talking about your guy's average 1 year average 10, another year he averaged 11. My guy's averaging 13 for a career.
Yeah, but my guy can rim protect. Or my old guy, he's not my guy anymore.
And Pop gave up on him. Why did he do that?
Because they had to go young. But we're talking about 6'11" versus 6'10".
Wow.
And now, here we go. This is what I love about this. I first guessed this, so I was out ahead of it as usual. I told you, Andre Drummond is not that dude. He's not that guy. He's never been in the spotlight before, and now you are proclaiming him your savior. Laker Nation has been trending on Twitter for days about Andre Drummond. We got Andre. He's our savior. I pity the guy. I feel so sorry for this guy because there's no way he's going to be able to live up to what you proclaim him to be, the savior. If you told me a month ago, 3 months ago, that all of a sudden Andre Drummond was going to be the savior of the Lakers, I would have LOL'd right in your face.
Go back and check my tweet. I tweeted when they played him. If the Lakers had Andre Drummond, it'd be over.
Okay.
And it's over.
Well, if it's over, give me the field.
No.
Why not?
No.
Because you don't trust
No.
So I want everybody to just let this sink in, that Andre Drummond has played in the shadows of this league for years. He's 27 years of age now. He's played in 8 playoff games, all for the Detroit Pistons. And in those games, he was 20 of 55 from the free throw line. Think about that. 20 of 55. He missed 35 free throws?
Yeah.
35 free throws in playoff games?
Okay, it happened.
This is your savior? This is the guy you trust? He shot 36% in those 8 playoff games, and I won't even mention the one NCAA tournament game that he played in and lost and scored 2 points.
So did LaMarcus Aldridge lead Texas to the national championship?
We're talking about the guy you got. This is the guy you said
you got Marcus Aldridge, but you're talking about him like he's Tim Duncan.
Okay, LaMarcus Aldridge is now a backup for the Brooklyn Nets.
That's what he should be.
Along with Blake Griffin.
He should be a backup to the backup.
And it's funny to me that both Blake and LaMarcus just said, no, we don't want to play for LeBron or with LeBron. We want to go to Brooklyn.
But you see what you did?
Brooklyn.
But hold on. But see what you did? But you make it seem like, did they want to go there before KD, James Harden, and Kyrie? They never said that. But hold on. Andre Drummond says, I want to play with LeBron and AD. AD says, I want to play with LeBron. But you got Kevin Love says, I want to play with LeBron. See, all you do is take the ones that don't go with LeBron and then...
It's a flood of those.
What about those? Hold on. What about
Kawhi? What about Paul George? What about Jimmy Butler? All of them said no to LeBron.
KD said no to Kawhi. Kyrie said no to Kawhi. Jimmy Butler said no to Kawhi. Okay, so what?
Well, they were already, their spots were filled. They had their two superstars.
No. Before he got Paul George, the report says he reached out to KD. He reached out to Kyrie. He reached out to Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Paul George wasn't even second.
So,
he was fourth.
Andre Drummond is a career 47% free throw shooter, so good luck to you if you're going to rely on him down the stretch of close games, because now you got double jeopardy. You got a LeBron, who we know is never clutch at the late game free throw line, and you got a guy who will be hack a Drummond. You cannot play him down the stretch because he cannot make his free throw.
We'll see. You keep to see this is why a lot of teams fail, because you look at a guy and says what he can't do, as opposed to telling you what can he do. He can rebound, he can score, he can defend the rim.
Okay,
that's what he can do.
So all he's done is play for bad teams in his career, and all he's doing this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers is, would you believe his usage rate? Andre Drummond's usage rate is 31%. That's only a tick off your guy's usage rate. LeBron's at 32%. Guess what? When he posts up, the ball goes into him, it is going up. Yeah, because that's what he does. So would you believe that his 13.9% of post-ups, of all your offensive possessions of the Cavaliers this year, that's 14% of post-ups go to Andre Drummond. That's third in the NBA among post-up players. Would you believe he's scoring less than 1 point? It's 0.83 on all those post-ups. That's the second worst of 31 post-up players that with at least 100 post-ups, okay? So it's showing you high usage rate, high shot probability when you post him up, and low scoring probability. That's a lethal combination, and that's the guy you just added?
I want to know on the Cavaliers, who is the equivalent of LeBron James and Anthony Davis?
I don't know. I guess they better bring out the best in him because nobody else has. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best is.
Is he an all-star? Now, let me tell you about what your guy, like Marcus Aldridge. Your guy was so scared that C.J. McCollum and Dame Lillard was going to take his place. He went to, guess where he went? To San Antonio, because he wanted to be the man, because Dame Lillard was the man. He didn't want to play with C.J. and Dame.
Did the Lakers want him?
Whoa.
Yes.
Hold on.
They tried their damnedest to get him.
Time out.
He was the prize of that whole free agent period.
He was. But he didn't want to be share the spotlight with Kobe. Okay. So he took his butt to San Antonio thinking he was going to be the man. And little did he know they already had a man that didn't know he was the man that later became the man, which was Kawhi. And guess what? He never lived up to what Pop thought. He started out in Pop's doghouse, Skip. You remember the first year he was in Pop's doghouse. And his last year there, he was in Pop's doghouse. But that's the guy that you pinning your hopes on.
Will you take him over Mr. 0-8 in the playoffs?
Yes.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. When Andre Drummond went 0-8 in the playoffs, was he the 1 seed or the 8 seed? He was the exact same seed that I know a guy, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, was the 8 seed when he ran up against the Celtics.
Am I getting this straight? You're now saying that Andre Drummond is better than Michael Jordan?
See what you did? You said that he went 0-8 in the playoffs. When Michael Jordan was the 8 seed against the Boston Celtics, he went 0-3 and 0-3.
I want all of our viewers to let this sink in. This man is saying...
No, I didn't.
That's not what I said. Last piece of the championship puzzle, and he is equal to Jordan.
That's what we just said. Yes. Skip, hold on.
You are so over the top right now. You have proclaimed him your savior. Skip. You have.
Skip.
And I pity this man.
That's not what you did. What you try to do is try to flip my words.
I'm echoing you. I'm parroting you.
LeBron, in 2016, The Cleveland Cavaliers were the 1 seed. The Detroit Pistons were the 8 seed. That was LeBron. In the 4 years.
I watched every dribble of all those games. I can't even remember Andre Drummond playing in the games.
Skip.
I can't.
They won the championship that year. The Cavaliers did. And then he went against the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis. So tell me how they was. I mean, you make it seem like he was the 2 seed and they got swept. He was not. A lot of 8 seeds get swept. So don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
I am doing it. And are you telling me that he's a better pickup than Rondo was for the Clippers?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Rondo's the new quarterback. He is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Clippers. He will change the face of the Clippers because he is the point guard they have never had through this regime.
Exactly. But also the guy that's going to ruffle some feathers, especially Kawhi, because we know he's soft.
In a good way.
You know, in a good way. You remember that's what San Antonio thought. Tony Parker thought he was giving him constructive criticism in a good way.
No, he didn't.
Now you sided with Kawhi. Now you said Tony Parker when he said that his quad was 1,000 times worse. You was on Tony Parker's side.
Well, I'm still on Tony Parker's side because they weren't trying to motivate him. They were just saying, what are you doing?
They were trying to motivate him.
And they had a closed-door meeting, and he just sat there and wouldn't respond.
Yes.
So Tony Parker went out and told one of the local TV stations, my quad is 100 times worse. And it was. He tore his quad.
Yes.
Kawhi had some weird thigh bruise.
That you forgave him. What about Paul George? When he started hitting the backboard, side of the backboard, when he's not doing what he's supposed to and Rondo calls him out.
Yeah, watch what happens. Rondo will shape him up. You know and I know, here they come. And what did Doc say after the game? The ex-Clippers coach, after he watched the Clippers just demolish what's left of the Sixers right now without Embiid.
They should have without Embiid, okay?
He said they're playing even better defense than they did last year. And I've been trying to tell you, over the last 10 games, they have really come together on defense.
Who they beat? Who they beat?
Well, they're just rolling.
Exactly. Rolling teams that aren't very good. But in clutch situations, how are they doing in clutch situations? The last 5 minutes of the ball game. Who's one of the worst teams in the NBA in clutch possessions, Skip?
As Doc said, now they have somebody to set the table where Kawhi doesn't have to dribble into a shot or Paul George have to say, oh, you mean it's my turn? I got to dribble and create my own shot?
They have people, Paul George had guys, Russ could set the table. Yeah, but what Paul George...
Russ sets his own table.
Hold on.
Period.
You didn't say anything about that when Russ had a 44-point night and Paul George gave you 5?
No.
Had a spade hand.
Shannon,
for an impossible.
He got 5. You're in such trouble.
No, we're not.
You're not going to get out of the West, and even if you did, you're not going to get out of the
No. Even if we do, LeBron James coming back. Coming back. Baby, go be back sooner than later.
I'll give you the Lakers, and I'll take the field right now for 10 cases.
No.
I'll do 20 cases.
Well, I tell you what, give me the field, and you take the Nets.
No.
Oh, okay, then.
Well, you're the one who said you got the last piece to the puzzle.
No, but you got the best player on the planet. Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet. Yeah. Give me the field.
No, you're the one who set this table, so I'm just responding to you.
You told me Kevin Durant is the best player.
Take it. Put your where your mouth is. Because your mouth is not there.
We got something for you, though.
Yeah.
We got something for you in a month, a little better than a month.
We need to heal up first, so then you guys can finish this up. Enough Lakers, enough Clippers, because we have to talk about a different California team that is getting it done. The upsets continue in the NCAA tournament. And last night, number 11, UCLA, continued their Cinderella run by knocking out second-seeded Alabama. After forcing overtime with a last-second three, the Crimson Tide ran out of gas, really, in overtime and fell 88-78. So, Skip, look, I know you picked Bama to win it all. So what happened last night?
Well, the first thing that happened was, I don't know how or why, I thought they were in the bubble, but somehow Alabama came down with LeBron disease. Alabama couldn't make clutch free throws. I couldn't believe it. A team that was a pretty good free throw shooting team during the year, especially the starters, couldn't make a free throw in regulation. They went 11 of 23 and then missed their first 2 of overtime, and then it was just over. 11 of 25 for the night, you're going to win no games. Alabama is clearly better than UCLA. Alabama should have advanced through this game. They had them again and again and again. You just have to make what are called free throws. And they were all culprits in this, but so were the referees, because this game got stolen out from under them. And I don't know if the refs just feel like, hey, Alabama dominates in football. We can't let their basketball team get to the Elite Eight in basketball because it's just not fair. So what happened to Alabama last night was just not fair. If we could see the first play in huge question, it came with 1:05 left. Juwan Gary's right underneath, and I think, oh, he's at least got a foul here, and he just gets hammered by Cody Riley. Just gets hammered. Just that he gets slapped across the shooting. Yeah. It's just like the most blatant foul you'll ever see. Oh, play through that. Let's play football. Maybe he thought Alabama was a football team. I don't know. The refs swallowed their whistle, and that's not a foul. And Nate Oates is over on the sideline saying, what are you doing, storming up and down the sidelines? Okay, Alabama is up 1, and I don't know, maybe Juwan Gary, who wasn't a free throw culprit yet, maybe he could step up and make a couple of free throws, and we'd have a different story. So then we go all the way down to 14 seconds are left. And speaking of Cody Riley, he makes the shot that puts Alabama up 1 with 14 seconds left. But if we can see what happens to Tiger Campbell over on the left side as he drives for the dish here, that is a charge. Can you see what happened? Tiger Campbell just runs over Herbert Jones, who, by the way, that's a wipeout. Herbert Jones is the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, not to mention he's the SEC Player of the Year. And he just gets run over. That's charging, and you got to wipe off the bucket. They've been calling that all game on Alabama. It's just blatant robbery. You have to wipe out the bucket. Alabama would still lead by 1 with the ball with 14 seconds left, and Alabama is going to win the basketball game. But it was one of those nights. It was just one of those things. And Joaquin, I'm sorry, I'll say his name right, Hawking, if I get it right, the shooter for UCLA. He made a shot with 7:11 left in the game where I just sat back and said, well, that's just too good. I don't know if we got this one. I think we do. He goes up and he's trying to draw the foul, and he makes it anyway. And I'm saying, well, and now it's UCLA's night. And it felt like he scored 34, but he only scored 17, and he just took over overtime. When you make shots like that, it is game over. So I'm happy for UCLA. But all I really care about is the bet that we made, which you gave me the whole field, and you took Gonzaga.
I did.
And now you're going to have to deal with the other L.A. school, USC. And in the nightcap last night, they just dominated their team from their own comp from the Pac-12. They wiped out Oregon for the second time this year, and that team is serious business, and you're going to have a hard time tomorrow evening when you have to deal with USC.
Okay, so Skip Bayless would want you to believe that Alabama gagged at the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, Alabama came into the night the 139th ranked team in free throw percentage. So they did what they normally do.
No, they're better than that. The starters were better than that.
How is 139? Is 139 good? No. Hell, Skip, there's only 180 teams playing.
No, I got it.
Okay.
But they have made their free throws in their other tournament games, and they were pretty good. And they made them in the SEC tournament like crazy.
Ain't nothing like the SEC tournament, ACC tournament is nothing like March Madness.
Okay, but 11 of 23 in regulation, you're just going to lose. Okay.
Okay. Now, Alabama was the third-ranked defensive team in the country. And in 5 minutes of overtime, they gave up 23 points. Now, if you're that good of a defensive team, now that's what Skip Bayless told me. Skip Bayless said Alabama, they all over the third-best defensive team. They gave up 23 points in 5 minutes. That's a 184-point pace. So when you true to form, when you miss your free throws, when you don't hold true to form, which is you're a great defensive team, and you give up 23 points in overtime, you expect to win that game?
So what happened was Alex Reese made a bomb at the end of regulation to force overtime, a bomb that I did not see coming, and I think they felt that it was fraudulent, that they didn't even deserve to get to overtime, and I thought maybe they would try to regroup, but what happened soon into overtime? The same Alex Reese went to the free throw line, and he could have cut the lead to 3, and he misses 2 more free throws. The guy who makes the bomb to tie from 3 can't make either of 2 free throws, and they quit after that. They just flat out said, we are done.
There's no pressure on him. If nobody was expecting him to make that three. People started expecting him to make those free throws. So that's a whole different ball game.
Yep.
Alabama relies on the three. They were 7 of 28. Yep. So let me get this straight. You rely on the three. You're the third best defensive team. You hold true to form at the free throw line.
Yep.
And you lost. Well, you exposed. I'm expecting you to lose. Yep. But I tell you what, Gonzaga, the Zags, whatever you want to call them, Skip Bayless, my team looking pretty. Nobody can get with even 10 points of them. Even though they don't, Skip, they get 40, 45, 50 at the half. Who can keep up with that? Teams are close for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden, do you realize, Skip, Corey Crisp scored 2 points in the first half. They won by 18. Jalen Suggs had 9, 6 turnovers. They won by 18. They got a guy with a stash. A 1970 stash cooked them.
Timmy. They've played the equivalent of the NIT field so far.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, they have.
Don't do that.
They've had the easiest draw I've ever seen. Creighton?
Hold on. Do you know what we done? Didn't we beat Baylor? Didn't we beat Michigan? Didn't we beat those teams?
We couldn't beat them now.
Oh, we won't find out. Well, I'll tell you what. Keep winning. That's all you got to do, and we'll see you. We already ended. Keep winning. Keep winning.
All I know is I completely underestimated this year's Pac-12. I live here. I should have been right underneath.
Everybody underestimated them. Oregon State was picked to finish dead last, and here they are with a chance to go to the Final Four.
I picked Oklahoma State to get to the Final Four, and I loved it because I believed in that team and that one player who's the player of the year in college basketball. And Oregon State knocked them off and looked like the better team.
Beat the brakes off them.
Okay? Then I liked Iowa because they had another co-favorite for player of the year, and Oregon just annihilated them. And then I still have Arkansas alive. They play Baylor now. That's going to be tough because Baylor looks really good.
Yep.
But then the other Pac-12 team is UCLA. With Hawkes, he looks like he's playing at another level. And again, their whole team, they wanted that game worse than Alabama did, and I did not see that coming because they have caught fire, and because they were in the first 4 they've played an extra game, and it looks like they're just rolling and believe in themselves, and they got enough firepower that between them and USC, my God, it's going to be difficult to stop either of those teams from the Final Four.
Well, hey, I tell you what I did see coming.
Yep.
I saw it coming.
You know, you're such a college basketball genius that you picked the prohibitive favorite and you're gloating about it. It was the far and away number one seed. You picked it, and you're over there saying, "We got this, the Zags."
We got it.
Right?
I was so confident. I told her I did Tiger Woods. Tiger used to show her what I got Tiger. I give you the other 149 golfers.
Okay. Well, I got the Mobleys on my side. I got Fight On. I got Cardinal and Gold. Here they come, and you're in trouble tomorrow
They changed their name. That's what they call it. In the South, it's Mobley. But I noticed I played with a guy, he's from the North, John Mobley. But that's okay. Don't worry about it. We got some skill. Do you see that firepower we got? When you can take our 2 best players, and they don't play well, and you still get beat by 18, you know it's just a matter of time before Suggs go off. You know he's going to be a lottery pick, probably top 5.
Well, Mobley or Mobley, however you want to say it, is probably going to be the number 2 overall. So we will see how that goes. Because he played like it last night.
So we play out tomorrow night, right?
He went 10, 8, and 6 last night.
So what you want on it? You want some do?
No, I got 5 cases. I got the field. What do I want any more do on it?
Yeah, get a couple extra cases.
Huh?
You can
You're the one who proposed it. I got the whole field.
Yeah.
I got USC. I might have UCLA.
Look, you already got some overtime, but pick up a couple extra hours. They're going to play double pay. Pick up a couple extra cases. I'm going to pay double.
I'm sitting pretty over here.
They're going to pay double.
Yeah.
2 cases. If I lose, I give you 4.
Nope.
I'll pick up a couple.
I got the field.
We have
Fight
time
on.
Tomorrow. Fight on. Fight on. Got to make a Trojan fit over there.
Now you're a USC.
Yeah.
And Shannon goes with the undefeated team. All right. This has been very interesting to watch. We are not done talking about them.
No mercy.
Sammy Watkins will be joining up with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore next season. The wideout agreed to a 1-year, $5 million deal over the weekend. The former 4th overall pick will have his work cut out for him, helping a Ravens passing game that ranked dead last in 2020. Baltimore is also still reportedly interested in signing free agent Antonio Brown as well. So, Shannon, how much will Sammy Watkins help Lamar?
I don't think he's a big help at all, Skip. Sammy Watkins can't stay healthy. Sammy Watkins is good for a game or two, and maybe that's the difference. Maybe it's that he have one of those big games that he normally has, 1 or 2 of those a season, and then he's get hurt. Sammy Watkins over the last 3 years has missed an average of about 5 games a season. He missed 14 games, Skip. Sammy Watkins has not had more than 700 receiving yards since 2015. It's 2021. And I know people say, well, Shannon, he's the third receiver with Tyreek and Travis Kelce. Yeah, that means he's getting single coverage. He's getting the third and the fourth corner. He should cook, and he doesn't. So you're talking about, Scott, when I first led the Broncos in receiving, Skip, I was the third option. Mark Jackson, Vance Johnson. They got the 1-2 corners. I got to cook on the third or fourth. Guess what? I led the team in receiving. Sammy Watkins should have better numbers than what he has going against third and fourth options. Sammy Watkins was the 4th pick in the draft, had outstanding potential. Sammy Watkins was what we see DeAndre Hopkins. That's what we thought Sammy Hopkins was going to be. Go back and watch Sammy Watkins in Clemson, and you tell me what you thought. You thought he would be what DeAndre Hopkins is at this very moment, Skip, and he has not lived up to that. So maybe it's another body that they give somebody, but I don't see Sammy Watkins making tough contested catches. I'm glad the Ravens have gone out. It's not for lack of trying to lure to get free agents to come there. I just did a piece with Mike, president of the Baltimore Sun. I think Mike still works for the Sun. And I was just saying, they got to fight perception. Skip, when you're the #1 rushing team and you're the 32nd passing team, how do I convince a free agent receiver this is the place for you? It's hard. But I don't look at Sammy Watkins as the guy. I hear they're still in the market for an Antonio Brown, but the thing is price for him. Because if it wasn't price, guess where he'd already been, Skip? Like all the rest of the guys that went back to Tampa. But it's a price point. But when I look at Sammy Watkins, Skip, I don't see it. I don't see the guy that, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see the guy that the Ravens and the Ravens fans think they're possibly getting.
Is he better than what they had? Yeah, because they don't have anything else.
Well, hell, Skip, I mean, if you don't have anything, well, hell, anything is better than nothing.
That is correct.
But he real close to that, what I'm just saying. Skip, think about it. How many games did he miss last year? He missed the whole season. And then he came back in the Super Bowl. Did you hear him call Sammy Watkins' name one time?
So I've told you from the start, this is the biggest single opportunity in the entire National Football League is to play receiver for the Ravens. I know it has a perception of being the worst opportunity.
Right.
But all Lamar did just 2 years back was he won the MVP.
Right.
And he threw it pretty well in that MVP season.
He did.
They leaned harder and harder on their run game last year. But remember, they were COVID-racked. They got derailed. They were off schedule the whole year. And not until the last 2 or 3 games did they get hot. And I still say if Lamar hadn't got concussed at the end of 3 quarters at Buffalo, they were going to have a very strong tailwind in the 4th quarter, and I think they would have made a game of it. That was without an obvious #1 receiving option because we know that Marquise Hollywood Brown is more of icing on the cake because all he does is run by people occasionally to get deep. And it's not really what they try to do. And Mark Andrews is the possession receiver, and I keep telling you, Devin Duvernay is a stud if they will utilize him, but he was a rookie last year just playing in the slot. When he was a Longhorn, he bedeviled me as a Sooner fan because he is clutch. They will utilize him more and more. But again, he's not a #1. He's a slot receiver, and that's fine. So there's this glaring opening here for somebody to say, yeah, I'll embrace that. And I hope for their sake it's Sammy Watkins. I agree with everything you said. When he came out, I'm thinking 6'1", 210, like he's not small.
No.
If he were 5'10", 175, I'd say, well, then I don't know if he can stay healthy. But at his size, he's a bigger receiver, and he ran 4.4, and I thought, okay, here we go, right?
Well, Skip, was that the game that he played against Ohio State in the Orange Bowl, where he went for like 200 and something yards? And I was like, oh, my goodness.
Okay, so his 2nd year in Buffalo, catching passes from Tyrod Taylor, he looked like that guy, but it was only for that 1 year. And he went over 1,000 yards.
I think Greg Roman was his head coach, too.
Was it? I can't remember.
Well, not his head coach, his offensive coordinator.
He was the coordinator, And then it started. And just a quick litany of all of his injuries, just to your point, to reinforce what you said. These are the body parts that he has suffered injuries to: shoulder, ankle, ribs, groin, hip tear, glute pull, calf pull, foot fractured twice, hamstring, and concussion. Well, that's a lot of stuff going on. And he's played, this will be his 8th season. He'll play next year at 28 years of age. He's not too old to be your number one.
But with all those injuries, he's like 33.
you could argue, but they don't have, I'll take him over just going forward with nobody else. And it's intriguing to me about Antonio Brown. Obviously, he has a deep connection with Tom Brady, and as much as I love Brady, I would like to see him back in Tampa. But clearly, that's the final domino that has yet to fall in Tampa, because they brought everybody back. And by the way, they still have all their draft picks, so they can still add young players to the mix. So it's not like they're going to stand completely pat. And yet, AB as yet unsigned. And I agree with you. He's looking for $1 more. You know, like he wants somebody to pay him what he thinks he's worth. Tampa can't. Tampa won't.
It won't. They can't. Tampa still has money up under the salary cap, Skip, but they got everybody. Everybody was willing to concede something.
Yeah. And what I don't know for a fact, I assume he was on his best behavior, but we don't know how Antonio was behind the scenes. Maybe he was difficult behind the scenes. Maybe it took all of Brady's leadership to try to sort of keep him in check, where he could contribute as a cog to the offense as opposed to the offense, the whole show.
Everybody that signed one-year deal, Skip, basically signed the same deal that they had signed the previous year. I think Sue got $1 million more. Gronk got the same deal, $10 million. Leonard Fournette basically got the same deal. He might take a little less. All of a sudden, AB comes in as probably the least important of the guys as far as of importance, Skip. And he's like, I want a big payday. I want like $8, $9 million. That's not going to happen, bro.
No, it's not going to happen. So that leaves the most intriguing. Obviously, Russell Wilson has
Seattle. They wanted him last. Seattle thought they were in the running last year.
But when you look at Baltimore, you look at the opportunity to play with his first cousin, who's Marquise Hollywood Brown, and a close friend of his, who is Lamar. Both, they're from Miami, obviously, from the same sort of neighborhood in Miami. So he would be happy there as far as the connections with his teammates.
I got family.
But again, would you get any more targets than you got from Tom Brady? No, you would not.
No. And that's the thing, Skip. They're not. The Ravens don't go out of their way. At least Tom went out of his way. The last game, Skip, you saw him. He had those incentives. Tom made sure he got them. Tom, I mean, he first got there, Skip, he threw him, 9 balls the first time he got there?
He did.
That's not how the Ravens operate. Antonio Brown is used to getting between 150 and 170 targets. Skip, that's never going to happen. Lamar Jackson only completes about maybe 250 to 300 passes a year. So you want half the targets to go to Antonio Brown? That's not going to happen.
Nope. So, yet, in the end, if you step back from this, are the Ravens still a contender in the AFC?
Yeah.
Sure they are.
Because simply for that quarterback. That quarterback's going to have him in contention.
Okay? So if you're Sammy Watkins and you want to be part of something that could be pretty special, this is a great move for him. Right?
He wasn't going to get, I don't believe he was going to get $5 million from Kansas City.
He was not.
But as I told Mike, who's writing the piece, Skip, I said, I believe the receiver that they want, they're going to have to draft him. And it's hard because guess where they're always picking? Somewhere between 26 and 30. Because they always make the playoffs. They normally win a game. So when you picking that, it's hard. Now, you might find you a Justin Jefferson. A guy later in the later rounds. Skip. But that's what I believe that's what you're going to have to do. Because it's hard to break that perception. Skip, the last 2 years, you've been #1 in rushing. Last year, you were dead last in passing. How do I convince a guy? Because what happens, Skip, I get 1,000 yards receiving at the team I've left from. I come there and I get 700. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. He's not the same. He's not the same. Well, y'all don't give me the same opportunities. I'm not getting 100. Take Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was in a run-first offense, even with Kirk Cousins at Minnesota. He goes to Buffalo. He gets 180-plus targets. He leads the league in catches and receiving yards. Do you think that's what's going to happen if he goes to receiver goes to Baltimore? He's going to lead the league in targets? No. So that's what you got to break if you're trying to lure a big-time free agent.
I still say Lamar can throw it better than most people give him credit.
Yes. But, Skip, what you and I believe, as opposed to what a wide receiver that could potentially go there believe, that his perception is he don't throw it as well as Brady, as Josh Allen, as Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, some of these other, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. That's their perception. What you and I think, we don't have to catch the ball. We're not going there. No. But those guys don't believe that. So how does he dispel that belief? A person's perception is their reality. That's why we see what's going on, because they believe a lot of what they hear. Yep. So that's their reality, Skip.
Nope, I got it. So, bottom line, I'm assuming Antonio Brown will be a Buccaneer next year, and I'm fine with that. I don't know if he'll be fine with that, but that's what's about to happen.
Well, Skip, why you gonna go take somebody's money? This is it. This is what we got. AB, we got $1 million, maybe $1.5 million plus incentives. Don't go there and grumble and be, man, y'all know I'm worth more than this. Don't just go somewhere else. Get you a little bit more money if somebody will give you that.
To your point, my only concern here is if he feels relegated to taking what they have left.
No, you ain't got to take it.
Okay, but I'm saying if that's sort of his last stop, he just says, well, nobody else is interested enough, I'll just have to take this.
Yes.
He would be a candidate to make trouble next year, to make waves.
But look here. The one thing about Brie is no nonsense. Brie get him right on up out of there.
He will.
And see, Skip, that's why you don't give him the big dollars. Yep. Because if he make money, you got to keep him on longer than what you should because you got money tied up in him. I got $1 million tied up in him. I let him go.
Yep.
$1 million ain't nothing.
Nope. And they would.
That's why, he's brought this upon himself. You have to give him small amounts. No, you don't give him all to him. Give him a little bit. Okay, you get a little bit more. You eat that, I'll give you a little bit more. You eat that, I'll give you a little bit more. You put all of it on his plate, guess what he gonna do? He gonna make a mess of it.
Did he catch a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all you need to know.
But Tampa say that ain't worth $5 million a year.
Yeah, they have a lot of other good guys there. Okay, I'm very intrigued where he ends up.
No mercy.
Zion Williamson racked up 38 points on his way to a 112-103 win over the Mavs on Saturday. And Rick Carlisle's team, well, they had no answers. And after the game, Carlisle said Zion was an unusual force. He also summed up the difficulty of figuring out how to stop him by saying, quote, "This is a Shaquille O'Neal type force of nature with a point guard skill set." Shannon, is Zion growing on you?
Well, he's playing really well. My biggest concern with Zion, Skip, was him managing his weight and being able to stay healthy and stay on the court. And for the most part this year, he's been able to stay healthy, stay on the court. They've let him play, Skip. It's no more of these managing his minutes, letting him play 20 minutes, and that's it. The game's closed. They're down by 4 points, or they're up by 2, and the guy can't come back in because he's reached his minutes quota. They're letting him play. What they've done, Skip, is they've allowed him to handle the ball, so it's less likely you can be able to double team him once he gets down on the block. So you're allowing him to get ahead of steam. And once he comes downhill, Skip, you kind of at his mercy because you're not worried about him, Skip. You're not worried about him pulling up the 3, but you can't let him get a running start. It's kind of like LeBron. You notice LeBron to get the guy, get the big on him. Then he'll back out. And now that's what he wants to do. He wants to get ahead of steam, and you're at his mercy. The difference is that LeBron is looking, he can get all the way to the rim, or he's looking to pass. Zion is looking to score the basketball because even though he's had an increase of possessions where he's handled the ball, Skip, he's only averaging 3.5 assists per night. So it's telling me that he's not looking to be a facilitator of the offense. I'm trying to get the ball into the basket. And it's hard, Skip. A guy that's 6'6", they list him at 284. At 295 to 300, that quick, that explosive, with that body size, Skip, he barely touches people. And guys moving like Moses part of the Red Sea. Yeah, he has that because when Shaq bumped into people, Skip, people went flying.
Yep.
But Shaq was 7'1", 300.
Yep.
But this kid here, I've never seen anything like it. He's Charles Barkley 2.0, Skip. That's what he is. You remember how Charles was? Charles was just like this. But I don't know if Charles was quite this size. Charles said he weighed 300. He got his weight down to 250. Zion ain't 250. That's a huge man. And Rick Carlisle is right. Skip, this guy, he'd be reckoned with. I haven't seen anything like this.
I told you when he was at Duke, I'd never seen anything like it. So I was first guessing this because what Rick Carlisle said last night is so right. He's Shaq-like with a point guard skill set. That's the difference, is that he's so skilled with the basketball and he is so explosively quick at 300 pounds, whatever. That's what we've never seen before, is the quickness and the explosiveness, the ability to whirl and spin.
Yes.
And with either hand get to the basket, because he's just as good with either side. It just doesn't matter to him. And he's way more skilled at the basket than Giannis is. Giannis just does it with brute force and length. I will go up over you and dunk over you or finger roll over you.
I'm 7 foot tall. So.
Okay, that's what he does. And he's long, Giannis is. But when you build the wall in the playoffs, as Toronto did that year to him, they just said, no, you can't. Miami did it last year. You just can't come in here. And he's not explosively quick. He's just long and tall. And strong. And so if you say, you can't get a foothold in our lane, we won't let you get near the basket, he has a hard time because he has no mid-range shot at all. Well, neither does Zion, and it doesn't matter. And I keep thinking, well, gee, maybe he'll figure this out. Maybe they'll start having him shoot 15-foot, because he can shoot threes. He's like 36% from three. He'll make some. It looks good. The shot looks good coming off his hand. He's got his free throws all the way up to, what, 70%? He's pretty good. He can shoot it, and he will grow in that area. But right now, he is so explosive that the grown men in this league cannot deal with him. And that's what Rick said, Rick Carlisle. It presents huge challenges for the defense and for the officials. He's just creating collisions out there. Well, he is. It's hard to referee. I always say Shaq. You couldn't referee Shaq. Is it a block or a charge? I don't know. He's just running over people. Well, they're getting in his way. Are they fouling him? Yeah, they're fouling him. Is he run over? Yeah, they just kind of run over. It's both. He's just turning basketball into football. He's just running through the defense, powering through the defense. Well, Zion is powering through it, but he's way more skilled than Shaq or even Barkley were at the rim, Because Skip, Shaq needed somebody to bring him the ball. Shaq was down on the block. What they've done with this kid is say, here, you bring the ball up, go do what you need to do. Yeah, see what you got. Or give it to him at the top of the circle and just let him wheel on people. And like you said, he's so quick at putting the ball on the floor, he's left-hand dominant. He wants, all things being equal, he wants to get to the left side. He will go that way. But, Skip, he misses a shot. And before you realize that he's missing, he's back up, got the rebound, and laid it back in. Quickest jumper I've ever seen for his size. For that size, Skip, the way he can leave the floor, hit the floor, and be right back up again. He's special. This is athletic ability that Charles Barkley did not have. No. Charles was a much better shooter, obviously, because Charles had range and he could handle and shoot it. I haven't seen that yet from Zion, but they're just saying, well, wait a second, he doesn't really need that yet. And look at his PER, player efficiency rating, which is the ultimate sort of the QBR basketball stats. He's 4th in the league. He's behind Jokic and Embiid and Giannis. He's 4th because they can't stop him. And he's making 62, really, let's go up to 62.8. So it's 63% of his shots. That's just running away with the percentage. And considering, Skip, we see guys come off the bench and they take 5, 6 shots a night. They make 4 of them big guys, and they have. But Skip, when you take as many shots as he is, and you're averaging 62%, 63% of his shots, and he's shooting somewhere between like 17 and 20 shots a night. It's gonna be. You got your work cut out for it. He's up 71% from the free throw line, so that will work. So the point is, we saw, remember, he hasn't even played an 82-game schedule yet, so he's still just a baby, you know, like in NBA experience. So all of a sudden, I watch him every night. They are must-see to me. And on Friday night, they lose at home to Denver, and he goes 39, 10, and 5, but he made 16 of 19 shots. That's impossibly great. He made 6 of 7 free throws, and he made 1 of 1 of his three-point attempts. He was a plus 13. Meanwhile, his teammate, Brandon Ingram, was a minus 29 because he was 5 of 17 from the floor. It's why I keep telling you the most perplexing team I've seen in a long, long time is New Orleans, because they have such star power and they have a hard time winning games. Well, Skip, because they're such a young team, both of their stars need to go off simultaneous in order for them to win. Neither guy is really that good enough, Skip. Like, if Zion scores 15 points,
B.I. is not going to really carry them. They need to both be in the 20s for this team to have success because, as you mentioned, you see Zion go get 39, but B.I. struggle, they lose.
Yep. Well, then the next night they play Dallas, and they beat Dallas because Zion went for 38, but Brandon had a pretty good game and went 13. Zion went 13 of 20, and Brandon scored 19. He was better. He was 8 of 15 for the floor. So he was a +4, but Zion was a +16, and those added up to we beat Dallas tonight.
Yeah, he's a force, Skip. I mean, a big man he just moves people out of the way, Skip. I mean, they go straight up in the air. It's like when I went straight up in the air, and the next thing you know, they're up under the basket.
So I loved it that they did not trade Lonzo Ball. I think both of us thought, don't do it. He's too valuable to you. He's too good a fit to you. He and Lonzo are peanut butter and jelly, man. I mean, how can you get a better combo than
Lonzo
that?
get 3-4 assists a game just on lobs.
Just off lobs. Especially when they start to run the floor together. Whew, you got a Malone and Stockton going on.
What did David Griffin say? The man sat across from me and says he wants to be here. Why would he even have to tell you he wants to be there?
Because of his father.
And that's where me and LeVar differ at. I get it. You're a grown man. You can say whatever you want to say. But at some point in time, you're going to realize what you're saying is causing harm to your kids. That's what this is about. Okay, you want your opinion? Okay, fine. Lonzo Ball should not have to sit across from his general manager and says, I want to be here. Because his general manager said, well, he's thinking just like what I said. That came from somewhere. He didn't just make that up.
That is correct. But he raved about Lonzo's work ethic because it's there.
Yes.
And he raved about how hard he works in the weight room because he does. And he raved about how much he's worked on his shot. It's not broken anymore. He fixed it. It works. He looks like a man now. He carries himself like a professional. It all looks like it's coming together. And I'm glad he's still there because this team's got a horde of draft picks, too. They're going to get nothing but better. And pretty soon they're going to start to figure out how to close games. And when they do, you better look out.
Yeah, Skip. I think they're a veteran away. They're veteran. You see what Chris Paul, the calming effect that he's brought to Phoenix? They need somebody like that.
I would agree. I thought maybe Eric Bledsoe could play part of that role, but he's splitting the point guard time with Lonzo, and then they go in the draft with the 13th overall pick and take Kyra Lewis from Alabama, and he's a 6'1" point guard. So it always seems a little out of whack to me.
I thought Holiday was that guy. I thought Holiday, he was an all-NBA player, Skip, but for whatever reason, it really never meshed with him, B.I., and Zion.
I think they're a monster waiting to emerge.
You think they make the playoffs this year? You think they make the play-in?
Well, they haven't shown they're in 12th. 7th, I know, but they're 7th in offense and 28th in defense until they decide they're going to play some defense every night.
That 28 need to come closer to 7. I'm not saying it needs to be 7, but it needs to start trending in that direction.
As David Griffin said, we have seen flashes of very positive things and flashes that have been very alarming. And I would agree with that. And I don't. The
defense has been very, very alarming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Lonzo can really defend. But Zion hasn't decided to yet. No, not at the level. And B.I. doesn't. Nope.
And that's the thing. I mean, Skip, you can't have your two guards the only one that's going to defend.
Agreed.
Josh Hart will defend. But, he comes off the bench. We need Zion and B.I. going to have to buy in.
So, you know what my final problem is with this team?
What?
I don't get Stan Van Gundy. I just don't get it. They are not responding
I know you're going to say Stan Van Gundy.
Sorry.
No mercy. Well, we're not even 2 months removed from Tom Brady and the Bucs winning the Super Bowl, but more football is now on the horizon. NFL owners are expected to vote this week on expanding the season to 17 games as part of the collective bargaining agreement the players signed off on last year. So, Shannon, if you were playing right now, how would you feel about this?
Jenny, read that last part that you said before you asked me that question.
Which part? That the players agreed upon? It's true. It's true.
Now everybody is dumb. They're stupid. Skip, what provision of a contract that's included in the contract that you didn't get? You thought they just threw that out there, we could possibly go to 17 games. You knew this was going to happen sooner or later. But you guess what? You fatten your pockets. It's a trade-off. You're going to get more money. NFL's going to get more games. I brought the broadcast partner. Skip, think about this here. The committee. Jerry Jones, Mr. Kraft, Roger Goodell, they go up there. Eric Shanks, who's CEO of sports here. and Sean McManus. I don't know who Jimmy Pietro. I think that's ESPN. I don't know who runs NBC. He said, look what we got, guys.
Jimmy Pitaro.
He said, look what we got, guys.
Yep.
We got 10 years of labor peace, and we got an option for a 17th game. What y'all want to do? What y'all want? Well, we want a 10-year deal. $100 billion? Okay, that's a starting point. That's how they got it. So, Skip, I don't really know what the players are upset about. Skip, you can't be upset with something that you signed. Skip, if you sign a prenup, why are you mad that the prenup is enforced?
Yep.
You signed the CBA. Now, the only thing I said, look, guys, try to get lifetime benefits. This is you're increasing the game. Now, you say it's physical enough. Now you're adding the game. Just try to get that, at least try to get 10, 15 years and say that I can take my benefits. Because a lot of times the NFL has skipped 2.5 years of the career. Well, Skip, if you leave the game at 24, you get 5 years of benefits after. You're done with NFL benefits at 29.
Yep.
Hell, you're going to live another 30, 40 years. And you're done. So I was just saying, no, try to get lifetime benefits or try to get longer benefits and be able to take those benefits when you want them.
Sure.
But I got no problem with the NFL implementing this. They put that in there for a reason. So now the fans get one more game. Our broadcast partners, you get to show another game, and players get more money. Okay. It was a trade-off.
It was a trade-off. Okay, now put yourself back in position of playing today.
Yes.
17 games, what is that going to do to your body? How much harder will that be for you to get through it?
I understand, Skip, that they're going to take 2 preseason games away.
They are.
Man, but preseason walkthrough. Preseason nothing. Skip, I'm only playing 10 plays if I play 10 plays.
Got it.
They don't hit in practice.
And that seems to be getting less and less.
Right.
Okay.
Skip, they don't really hit in practice. They got walkthroughs and all this other stuff. Yeah, Skip, it's taxing. The game is really, really physical. But if my union signs off on it and says, okay, guys, in order for us to get X, we've got to give up Y. Well, Skip,
that's it.
I'm not. You'll never hear me say anything that we agreed upon, and they agreed upon it. Those guys like, no, we want to vote. We want to vote, and they voted for it. So I have no problem with the NFL implementing the 17th game.
Obviously, I'm an NFL fanatic, so the more the merrier for me. It's just another game to get excited about.
Right.
So I'm happy for that. I don't want to see a war of attrition where teams are sort of half left standing at the end of the season, but I don't think it's going to be that way because, to your point, we've sort of joined the 2000s now. We've gotten out of that archaic mentality. I'll never forget Cowboys' first Super Bowl when I was covering them with Jimmy Johnson. They're out here in L.A. for the Super Bowl at Pasadena. They're staying out in Santa Monica, practicing at UCLA, not far from where we sit right now. And on the Thursday ahead of the Sunday Super Bowl, they fun it up, as you said. They went full pads, full speed.
Right.
And I've told you before, John Giesick was the offensive guard on that team, kind of a leader of that young team. This was their Super Bowl breakthrough year in '92. And I saw him in the lobby at the hotel when he got back, and he was out of his mind. He was angry that Jimmy made them hit in practice.
Yeah.
Well, that's
especially
just,
that late in the season.
That's just old school football. That's what Jimmy knew, and Jimmy knew that they're just better than Buffalo, so he wants them at full speed, you know, sort of damn the torpedoes. Like, if we get hurt, we get hurt. You know, that whole mentality in practice. And what did the great Leroy Jordan once tell me, the linebacker from Alabama, who was a Cowboy great at middle linebacker?
Only guy to win the Super Bowl MVP in a losing effort.
That is correct. No, I think that was Chuck Howley.
Chuck Howley. I don't know why I keep it.
But he was all-time.
He was a Bama guy.
And he always said, the harder I play, the healthier I stay.
It is.
So there's something to that. If you don't think
you have
about
hardly skills,
just go.
Somebody go get you around the pile.
All out. I know. Just let it fly. Yep. And sometimes the healthiest players play the hardest.
They do.
Okay? So that's what everybody should stick with. And now everybody's a little smarter because they just don't practice that hard anymore because the rules prohibit it.
Right. You know, what you get 13 padded practices per year.
Yep.
Man, I'm in training camp. You got to give them, you got to give them this many hours off, and you can't have back-to-back padded practices. They do a lot of things now to take care of the players. And the players now, a lot of the players, especially the top ones, Skip, they have physios and trainers, and they know how to eat, and they take care of themselves. Yep. And so now, you know, you're going to get a couple of extra dollars, and you just have to invest that money into your body, take better care of yourself. I mean, look, I get it. 17 games is a lot of games. And this is the longest, Skip, 16 games. They haven't increased since, what, 70s, late 70s? So about 40-plus years, they've been at 16.
Okay. Does it skew the stats a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Sure it does, but you just learned.
Well, they skewed the stats. Jim Brown played 12 games. And then they went was it 12 or 14? But anyway, Skip, they went to 12. And then I think O.J. broke the record at 14.
He did.
Then they went to 16. So, yeah, the records are going to be skewed. Yeah, you'll have guys with more sacks and more passing yards. Okay, it is what it is.
So back to Alvin Kamara. He's a fun young man. I love being around him. We've had him on the show here. But, Alvin, you got to be smarter than this to say this is some you-know-what. Well, okay, you voted for it,
yeah,
right?
Cam Jordan came right behind and said, this is what we signed up for.
Yeah.
We voted for this.
Everybody knew it. Cam said he knew it, she knew it, they knew it, everybody knew it.
Skip, why do you think they put it in there? That was a part of the stipulation. Okay, this is what you guys want. Well, we want this 17th game. Now, Rooney, Mr. Rooney, one of the owners of the Steelers, said we're thinking about maybe 2022. Why we want to do it 2022? We can do it 2021.
Well, sounds like that's where we're at.
Exactly. That's exactly. We got to vote on it. Skip, like somebody gonna say, you know what? Nah, we don't want that extra revenue right now. We'll just wait. No, we want the extra revenue, Skip. That's an extra game. That's extra revenue.
Yep. Do I want a 17th game to talk about here on Undisputed?
Yes.
You better believe I do. So, bring it on.
I mean, 16 was just a nice round number, Skip. It was just nice to be, 8-8 or 9-7. So now.
So wait,
9-8.
You know what? That just the Cowboys can be 9-8 now.
Cowboys will still
9-8.
Cowboys will still find a way.
9-8.
Guess what? They'll still find a way to finish 8-8. And with a 17-game schedule, they're gonna finish 8-1. Watch what I tell you.
Okay.
They'll tie Fitzmagic.
We don't need any ties. That doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help us. No mercy. Well, because of yesterday's rainout, the best NASCAR season ever continues later today on Fox. Check out the NASCAR Cup Series, first dirt track race in over 50 years today at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific over on Fox and the Fox Sports app. I'm definitely be checking that out. It looks like quite a lot of fun to see. While the Clippers are said to be interested in DeMarcus Cousins, the Lakers and Nets both added their own big men in the buyout market over the weekend. Marcus Aldridge signed with the Nets and will join forces with Harden, Kyrie, and KD after being bought out by the Spurs. And meanwhile, Drummond joined LeBron James and the Lakers in L.A. after his contract was bought out by the Cavs. And Frank Vogel said he believed the Lakers got, quote, a lot better with the signing. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is with us. Chris, who won the buyout market in your opinion?
Well, look, they both did well. And I tell you what, the Lakers had better have gotten Andre Drummond after the Nets added LaMarcus Aldridge to go with Blake Griffin. So both improved their depth, their versatility, and they added, big-time talent, even if the Nets guys aren't in their prime. If I have to pick one team, I'm going with the Nets just because they got two players to the Lakers' one. And we understand neither Blake Griffin nor LaMarcus Aldridge is still in their prime. And to be honest, that's good because it wouldn't work. There's no way it would work if those two were still perennial all-star talents with the other three guys. It's just too many guys that will want and need the ball. But now that they understand their role players, I think they can help the Nets. Now, a big challenge for the Nets is going to be Steve Nash having to figure out how, when, and where to use these guys because they can go big with DeAndre Jordan and Aldridge or Blake at the 4 and KD at the 3. They can go small, which I really like their small possibilities of Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant at the 4 and the 5. But here's the thing, too, guys. Their most effective offensive lineup has been the small ball lineup with Jeff Green at center. But it's got problems defensively, as you might imagine. Now you can theoretically put Aldridge at your 5 and still play small because he can spread the floor. You saw him in the highlight. He has extended his range to three-point range. I'm not saying he's great, but he's adequate from three-point range. But yet on the other end, he gives you more rim protection. He's not Shaq or anything down there, but he does give you a little more interior defense than a Jeff Green would. So that small ball lineup should be better defensively. What they have to do, here's a key for the Nets. Aldridge and Blake have got to have the mentality that Dwight Howard had for the Lakers last year, where it's like, hey, I came here for one reason. That's to win a championship. It's not to put myself in position to make more money next year. It's not to come here and put up numbers. And there may be games and even series where I don't play a lot, depending on the matchups. But I still have to be engaged and supportive of my teammates. If they do that, man, it's going to be very hard. I don't know that anybody can stop them if they're fully healthy.
So you say you like Blake Griffin, bad knees, who plays every other night, and LaMarcus Aldridge. But I like the 27-year-old that's led the league in rebounding 3 of the last 4 years, who's averaging 18 and 14, who averages 13 rebounds for a career. So let me ask you a question. Of those 3 guys, Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge, currently, which is the better player? Chris, that's
one better player, probably Drummond, but Drummond's somewhat of a dinosaur, Shannon. You know that.
So,
he's a bit of a dinosaur.
So what is a guy that has bum knees, that has no longer athletic? So what is he, Blake Griffin?
I tell you what, he's good with 3 stars on the floor with him because he had 17 points in 20 minutes the other night.
So what is Andre Drummond going to be?
All these role players, they're better with Harden and Kyrie on the floor, not to mention KD.
So what is
Drummond? They're going to get easy looks.
What is Drummond going to be with LeBron and AD?
Drummond will be good against Jokic and Rudy Gobert. He'll be huge for them. But there are going to be times where he's a defensive liability if the big man can take it outside and shoot threes, like Aldridge if he's at the 5.
Well, if Aldridge was doing that good, why would they get rid of him? But that's neither here nor there. I like what they did because they got a guy that can rebound. Like you say, at this juncture, Andre Drummond is a better rebounder than Dwight Howard at his age and JaVale McGee. No question about that. He's a better offensive weapon than those 2 guys, especially Dwight at his age. JaVale has really never been. Now, is he as good a defender as Dwight? That's debate. We can debate that with he and JaVale. But given those other 2 aspects, scoring the basketball, rebounding the basketball, he can rim protect, something that they did not have, something that Marc Gasol has turned into a liability, and Trez is too small. So I like what they bring to the table. They can play big. They can go AD. AD doesn't like to play the 5 except the last 5 minutes of the ball game. You go Drummond, you go AD, you go LeBron. And if you like KCP standing there with Schroeder, and then you come up, I like what we got. See you in the finals.
So, Chris, I must admit, I'm sitting over here chuckling to myself, watching my man, Shannon Sharp, across the table from me become the victory parade marshal for the Lakers again. He is beating the drum for Drummond as the final piece to the championship puzzle, the repeat puzzle. He is saying that Andre Drummond, of all people, somebody I hadn't really even thought about the whole time he's been in the league, is now the savior of the Los Angeles Lakers. The savior. That's what you're telling me. Savior. A guy who has toiled in the shadows, who does not know the spotlight. I feel sorry for Andre Drummond because Laker Nation's going to say, show us. You are our man. Save us. And he will not be capable of saving you.
Yes, he does. Just do your job. Rebound and give us a couple of points here and there.
He is 6'10", 280 pounds. He will shrink under the bright, hot spotlight of Laker Nation. You know it, and I know it. He will not be able to stand up to the pressure that you have heaped upon him because he's never felt this before. He's been in 8 playoff games in his career, and he's 0 for 8 because nobody cared, nobody watched.
After 8 seed, he's the 8 seed. He keeps saying that, Chris, but he went against the #1 seed Cavs and the #1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. When Jordan was the 8 seed and went against the Boston Celtics, Chris Broussard, what was his record, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay, so now Michael Jordan is not the equal of Andre Drummond. That's what you're saying?
Oh, Chris, don't do that. Chris, did you say 63 points and call the L? So now, no, see what you do, Chris? You always do that. Will you stop doing that? I'm not saying Andre Drummond is Michael Jordan. I've never said that. But what I am saying, Andre Drummond was the 8th seed going against the 1 seed.
So I don't even remember him playing in either series, and I watched every dribble of both series. And the point is, I do remember him clanking free throws because in those 8 playoff games, he's 20 of 55 from the free throw line. Under the playoff pressure, that's 36%. It's going to be serious hack Drummond. You cannot play him down the stretch of playoff games because he will be your Achilles heel at the free throw line.
Okay, can I ask you something, Chris Broussard? I want to ask you also, Skip Bayless. Can you tell me the playoff game that you remember Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge playing in? Give me the game that you remember they had.
The game?
The game.
Oh, I remember one huge one for LaMarcus Aldridge. It was game.
No, I'm not. No, I know they made the playoffs, but the game.
Yeah. I got it. One night against Oklahoma City, at Oklahoma City, I think he made like 14 of 16 jump shots. I've never seen anything like it. He can get as hot from mid-range as anybody in the league. That's how he will help and benefit the Nets in ways that Andre will. Andre is a ball eater in the post. He is high usage rate. He's 31% usage rate to LeBron's 32%. When it goes into him, he's going to try to shoot it, and he doesn't score it that often given his usage rate.
So when Kawhi got injured in Golden State, and they were up 18, and LaMarcus Aldridge was on the floor, what happened? If he that guy, you can't bring an 18-point lead home?
But the point is, he's now a backup for the Brooklyn Nets.
He don't have to be that guy. Yeah.
He's a backup. And by the way...
Look, Shannon...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Skip.
Well, the point is, on LaMarcus Aldridge, he is way underrated as a rim protector, way underrated. He is 6'11". Your guy is 6'10".
Skip is an inch.
Yeah, and by the way, your guy can't really jump. He's a ground-bound 6. He's wide. He's about 6'10" wide.
Yeah.
But LaMarcus is a long 6'11", and boy, he can really protect the rim. He will block shots at the rim.
He ain't blocking no shots.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Shannon, look, I'm not as down on Drummond as Skip is. He does improve the Lakers. He gives you an element of what you lost with Dwight and McGee leaving the team. He can rim run, he can score on putbacks and dump-offs, and he can rebound. So he'll get you extra possessions.
Thank you.
But there will be a lot of times where he's not going to be on the floor. I mean, you've watched the Lakers this year. They want to spread it out. And LeBron has long wanted it spread out, right? No big man in the middle. So AD played a lot of center against Miami in the finals.
Yeah.
So depending on the matchups and in games, Drummond's not going to be often giving you 30 minutes a night.
No.
So this is just another element for them. It makes them more versatile. But to think those at 18 and 14, it's not going to look anything like that for him playing for the Lakers. Maybe right now while LeBron and AD are out, but not once
I don't need 18 and 14. I don't need 18 and 14. I need 9 and 11. He can give me that.
So, Chris, I got a final question. Final question for you, Chris Broussard, and you really know this league. Better addition, Rondo to the Clippers or Drummond to the Lakers?
Woo! That's a really good one.
You know what the answer is.
No, he don't. Yeah, I know he don't.
I'm back. I got the Lakers. I think Drummond makes the Lakers the definitive favorite in the West. Obviously, Rondo fits a need.
Yeah,
I think I will go with Rondo slightly because he can always be out there.
Yeah.
Like Drummond, there are going to be series where you just can't use him. However, I do think his presence makes the Lakers the prohibitive favorite in the West, assuming their health.
Prohibitive?
Hold on, Chris. So you say Rondo's always going to be out there. So you got Rondo playing 33, 35, 36 minutes a night? So how can he always be out there?
I mean, at the end of games, like there won't be a series where you're like, you know what, we can't really use Rondo much, like there will be with Drummond. So that's all I'm saying. Every game in the playoffs, Rondo will be able to be with your closing lineup if that's what you want.
Yeah, Shannon, if you hadn't had Rondo in the bubble, you wouldn't have gotten your fake ring.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
You got fake rings.
Let me ask you a question. How did Rondo look in Atlanta?
He was just saving himself for the Clippers. You know it, and I know it.
Hey, I want somebody to pull that tweet up, because I said it when the Lakers played the Cavaliers. I said if we got Andre Drummond, it was going to be over.
Okay, I'll take the field. You can have him. I'll take the field for 10 cases.
Go
the Lakers.
No. I need Go James to be healthy. I'm going to need to see about 5 or 6 games to see how he's moving around. I'm going to see how Baby Go doing. Boy, if Baby Go and the GOAT, the big GOAT.
You don't even need them. You got Drummond.
I just want it.
Beat that drum. Beat that drum.
But, hey, I want everybody to know, the Lakers win the title, I'm bringing an elephant to work. I ain't bringing no live GOAT. I'm bringing an elephant up in the Fox. I will have an elephant in this building.
Why? Why elephant?
Hold on. If LeBron James win the title this year, there is no doubt. I don't want to hear anybody else. It's not even debatable, Chris Broussard. If LeBron James win the title this year, shut it off. I don't want to hear nothing else about no GOAT. It's no more debate.
No more debate?
No more debate.
He's lost 6 times in the finals.
It's not like he doesn't have help, Shannon.
Hey.
It's not like he doesn't. And again, let's see it happen first, then we'll talk about it. But it's not like LeBron's going to war with a water pistol.
Hold on, time out.
Anthony Davis and you're touting Andre Drummond.
Whoa. So which team has ever made the final with 41 with a team that had 41 All-Star appearances?
There was a team. It was it the Heat? Heat?
Had
13? When they had Ray Allen?
They had 41.
There was a team, I don't know if it was the Heat, but it's been done. It's
41
been done.
All-Star.
Yeah.
And
one team, one other team.
And guess what? Did they lose? So we got it. I see you done got off our bandwagon, Chris. So now don't get back on. I'm closing the door. You know how you pull up to the bus stop and you running late?
I'm an objective analyst. I pull out the pom-poms for no man. So I'm calling it like I see it. And Brooklyn, if healthy, they stacked, man.
Hey,
they stacked.
Don't worry about it.
But it'll be a good series.
You running late, Chris. I know I saw you coming. I saw you, but I'm going to close the door and drive on off. I could have waited. I could have did the right thing, but not today. I'm driving on off. Catch you tomorrow.
So I thought you meant you wanted an elephant in here in honor of Andre Drummond.
No. I'm gonna paint him. I'm gonna paint him purple and gold and put 23 on his side. Cause he ain't a GOAT no more. He the elephant.
I'm afraid that's what LeBron now moves like.
Yeah, don't do this, Gil. See, there you go. See, you ruined it. See?
Well, I will remember this day if they get it done, and then I would like to see an elephant, Shannon.
Oh, he's coming.
I'm figuring how we'll get him in here, but it's going to be quite the scene. Okay, Chris, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for your time. Sorry, you're off the bus in terms of
yeah, we did. I'm sorry, Chris.
You're gone. No mercy. So get this, the Patriots could be one step closer to reuniting with Jimmy Garoppolo after the 49ers traded up from the 12th to 3rd overall selection in the draft. It could mean that Jimmy G is available via trade. Latest reports are the Patriots either want to trade for Garoppolo or move up themselves in the draft to select a quarterback, either of which will be easy to pull off at this point. So, Shannon, now, what does Bill Belichick do for a quarterback?
Skip, I still believe he'd love to get his hands on Jimmy G. We know what he thought of Jimmy Garoppolo. He liked Jimmy G. He thought so much of him. He was willing to move on from Tom Brady, even after he had 5 Super Bowls. He had 1 in 5 Super Bowls. He was willing, says, I have this much confidence in Jimmy Garoppolo that he's the quarterback of the future for the New England Patriots. That's what he was willing to do. So to get an opportunity, I believe to get an opportunity to get him back, to put him back in that system, to get an opportunity to also show, see, I told you what he could do in this system. So I believe that's what he wants. Now, he's at 15. And I know everybody keeps saying he's going to trade up, but Skip, in my 20 years, I don't remember Coach Belichick moving up in the draft. He normally moves back and gains more picks as opposed to moving up and giving away picks. Yep. Now, we've never seen Coach Belichick spend this kind of money in free agency either. So I guess this might be an outlier year. 2021 might be the year Coach Belichick spends a ton of money and moves up in the draft. But given based on his history, we haven't seen him do that. It makes a lot of sense for Jimmy G. They didn't invest as much money as people think in Cam. Jimmy would have to restructure that contract. 27 is a little bit too much for the Patriots to digest, considering they're only $14 million under the cap right now. And plus, you have your rookie class that you're going to have to get signed. So for me, Skip, given that the money that they gave Cam is not a lot of guaranteed money, which would easily be moved off of if they were to go in this direction, lead me to believe they're not totally, fully bought into Cam. And I believe that they would rather, all things being equal, if Jimmy Garoppolo were to become available, I believe that would be the direction that they would move in. I could be totally wrong, but given Coach Belichick's history and what he thinks of Jimmy G, and even when he went to 49ers, what did Jimmy say? Coach Belichick texted him. Would text him after games. Okay. I believe they would move back in this. But the thing is, the same thing, these are two basically the same guys. Jimmy can't stay healthy. Cam can't stay healthy. That's what you're, so basically, either way, Skip, you're mortgaging this year possibly on guys that can't stay healthy.
Okay, let's start with the 49ers. You watch Kyle Shanahan basically grow up around your locker room as the son of your head coach, Mike Shanahan.
I did.
You have nothing but the highest regard for his offensive capabilities.
No question.
It borders on offensive genius. I don't want to go there yet, but he's worked miracles starting under his father in Washington, then going to San Francisco, and the run game, and with various different quarterbacks. They're always really potent on offense because of Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
So what does it tell you that Kyle Shanahan has done with Jimmy G? Does it tell you that Belichick and Josh McDaniels could do better with Jimmy G than Kyle Shanahan was able to do?
Well, Coach Belichick always believed that. He always believed that he could take your players and get better out of them than what you got.
Okay. Because he basically gave them Jimmy G out of spite when he got his wrist slapped by the owner up above, Robert Kraft, because Tommy had gone to Daddy and cried, he's trying to get rid of me.
He did.
And at that point, Daddy chose quarterback over coach.
He did.
And coach said, okay, watch this. And he turned right around and made one call that I know of, just made one call to either Kyle Shannon, who is kind of his protege, kind of like a son to Bill Belichick. Like he has nothing but a high regard for him also. Or maybe to John Lynch, and he just said, hey, have I got a deal for you? How would you like Jimmy G for a second-round pick? And they're like, thank you. We can't do it fast enough.
If I'm not mistaken, then early in the year, he traded Jacoby Brissett for a receiver.
He did. He just gave him away to Indy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a hard time believing that Belichick plus Josh McDaniels could do any better with Jimmy G than we've seen over his fairly lengthy stay now in San Francisco. You can't keep him healthier because that's just, you're either brittle or you're not.
Yeah, he's injury prone.
Okay, he's just injury prone, but he has had some stretches of Aaron Rodgers and he's had some stretches of Mr. Rodgers.
Yes,
that's what he's had.
Exactly.
And so the point is that he's wildly erratic and inconsistent to the point that they finally got right to the precipice. They got to the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl with a lead.
10-point lead.
10-point lead. And he goes 3 of 11 for 36 yards with a pick. And he missed Emmanuel Sanders, as you know, with a late throw on a 3rd and 10
That would have put him in the lead.
They would have put him in the lead with 1.5 minutes left. And would it? Here we go again. He missed him by 5 yards. And it's just like a throw of throws. You either make that throw or you don't. And at least he overthrew it, never up, never in, as they say. You know, like at least he got it there.
Right.
He didn't miss him low. He missed him
You
long.
can't miss it, though.
Yeah, but he missed it. And the point is, would Patrick Mahomes then have pulled off another miraculous comeback in the last minute 30? He well might have. But the point was that puts you in the lead.
Right.
And that would have wiped out your 3 of 11 for 36 yards that you had in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And it did not. So the point is, I wouldn't trust him. I don't think he would change life in New England, but it seems like it's come to this for Bill Belichick because your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, warned last week he is at risk, Bill Belichick, of winding up in quarterback purgatory. Well, he is. He's got Cam on a 1-year deal that's bargain basement. It's like you're trying to just muddle through. And I thought Cam had his moments last year, but only his moments. He went up with 8 touchdown passes to 10 interceptions and a QBR that ranked 30th of 33 quarterbacks qualified. It wasn't good enough.
Right.
That's why you went 7-9 and missed the playoffs. Well, is he going to be that much better this year? Maybe a little better, just out of familiarity.
He knows the system, and probably another year removed from the surgeries. But Skip, the thing is, at 15. If you want a quarterback, what's the likelihood of one of them being there when you select?
One of the top 5 will not be there.
Right.
I'm just convinced they will not be there. Now, knowing Belichick, he's got some diamond in the nowhere you rough. You know, like he found some Ben DiNucci at nowhere. I don't know. when somebody that you're not thinking of, that people are thinking of as a 6th or 7th round pick, and he wants to say, watch this, I got my next Brady.
And that's the thing, though, Skip, because, and I guess that's why everybody's saying, hold on, you're in the middle, you're right there in the middle at 15. None of the guys that you possibly think play that position will be available. So I guess that's why they have him moving up. But we haven't seen him move up. I mean, if there was something to say, we've seen him spend a few dollars, not like he spent. Stephon Gilmore cost him some money. Adalius Thomas cost him some money. But not like this. They went overboard. I mean, they spent the most money in free agency. We haven't seen this. What we've never, ever seen, because we have seen him spend some money, is that I don't know if we've seen him move up in the draft. He normally will slide back. I want more picks.
To me, he overpaid right and left, but he went first in free agency because they felt desperate enough. We got to go first. So if you go first, you're going to overpay for right down the line everybody you got. Well, you restock the cupboard. I give you that. But the problem is there is this hard cap in pro football. I think there is, except at Tampa Bay. That's the only team that doesn't have a cap. But the point is, you have strapped yourself so hard against the cap that unless you find that diamond in the draft rough, I don't know how you get out of quarterback.
Well, sometimes you got to be first, Skip. Sometimes, you know, if you second, she gone. The guy beat you to the punch.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you're last.
Just think, if you'd have called first or you'd have pressed send first, Coach Belichick says, hey, I was first with Matt Judon. I was first with this one.
But the problem is, when it comes to NFL free agency, if you're first, you're last, right? That's the problem.
Well, Skip, he had a lot of holes he had to fill.
Well, he spent like a madman. And it reeked of desperation. And yet he spent everywhere but the position. You have to have a quarterback. And unfortunately, his ex-quarterback is probably the favorite right now. I would make him my favorite to win next year's Super Bowl.
Well, Skip, there are a quarterback that came available that said, you can trade me anywhere except there. Matthew Stafford said, I will go anywhere.
He did.
But I don't want to go there.
Correct.
Well, he could have made that could have made. Do you believe Coach Belichick would have been willing to give up that? Maybe he doesn't view Matthew Stafford like a lot of other people around the NFL circles view Matthew Stafford. So that might not have been an option. Although Matthew Stafford said he didn't want to go there, maybe Coach Belichick didn't want him there. So we'll never know. But I just know at 15, the likelihood, now it could happen. We've seen it happen before. The likelihood that one of these quarterbacks falls in his lap at 15, but it's not likely.
It's not likely, which brings us to the final derby that's still out there yet to commence, and that's for Deshaun Watson. But we don't know about all the civil suits that are piled up against him. We don't know how that's going to play out in court or with the NFL. And is it possible Belichick could get in? That's the kind of move he would make if it came down to his price range. Maybe he would give
2 firsts.
Like future. You'd have to go future.
22, 23,
We'll give the 15th and then whatever, the next 3 first-round picks. Which Houston, now that you got the connection to Nick Caserio there, would they do him a little solid, a little favor?
And Easterby. Used to be.
It's like New England South, right? Okay, so maybe they would pay it back. And if he had, even if Deshaun is suspended for a lengthy time, would you rather have Deshaun than not? Well, then you'd be back in business.
But remember, Deshaun has that no trade. So he's going to have
No, but now it's if Deshaun absolutely, as you've reported, if he absolutely wants out, he may have to go where he doesn't want to go.
Matt Rule in Carolina, they sitting in the corner like,
Got
to get our hands on him.
No mercy. Well, James Harden's name has been thrown into MVP talks, and the Beard believes it is warranted. After dropping 44 points against Detroit over the weekend, Harden said, quote, I feel like I am the MVP, when he was asked if he belonged in the conversation. Shannon, has Harden taken the MVP lead, in your opinion?
No, but he's close. But if I'm a vote, I'm not giving him a first place vote because he did quit on the Houston Rockets. He did that. He showed up late. He was in quarantine when he knew he wasn't supposed, when he broke quarantine protocols, when he knew he wasn't supposed to be. He showed up late for training camp, and he basically quit on his team. I have Nikola Jokic. I have Jokic. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists. Top 10 in scoring and rebound and assists, and the Nuggets are now the 5th seed. I just can't ignore James Harden quitting on the Houston Rockets. Skip, but what Kyrie missing and KD missing has allowed James Harden to do is to do what he did in Houston, which is be the one-man show that he is. So I'm not seeing anything that I know how great James Harden has been. I know how great James Harden is. So what he's doing, Skip, I've seen the man get a 50-point triple-double. I've seen him get 60 points and have double-digit assists. So I'm not surprised by anything he's doing. I just can't ignore he quit on a team.
And the voters will not ignore that. He will not win the MVP. He is disqualified, and he should be the MVP favorite right here, right now. They are 24-9, are the Brooklyn Nets, since he joined them.
Yes.
And nobody has been more valuable than he has been, because there have been a lot of games with no KD and some games without Kyrie.
Well, hell, KD's only played, what, about 7 or 8 games with him?
So he's 17-5 as James Harden without KD. And in those games, he's 27, 9, and 11. Without both of them, he's 4-2, and he's averaged 34, 9, and 11.
That's Houston.
Okay.
That's Houston, James Harden.
Although the 9 is sensational.
Right.
He is playing his tail off for this team. Without Kyrie, he's 6-2, averaging 34, 9, and 12. What? Nobody has been more valuable to keep his team afloat, because they're still only 1 game back of the Sixers in the East. 1 game back.
Right.
Well, it's the James Harden show. He has taken his game to one more level that I didn't think he had.
I think the thing is, Skip, now is that, yeah, he had great shooters, but Joe Harris, Landry Shamet, TLC, he has guys that, like you said, and when he had Kyrie, he had like 4 or 5 guys that could knock down shots, not just Eric Gordon. I mean, Danielle House, and he had a few other guys, Ben McLemore. But the guys that he have at Brooklyn are better shooters from distance than the guys that he had in Houston. You look at the numbers, Skip. The numbers is what he averaged. You remember, he averaged 36 for a season. He averaged 35. He's averaged 32. So James Harden getting 30 points without those guys being on the court is not surprising, because that's what he does.
But he's running away with the assist title.
Yes.
Right?
But we've seen him, Skip. We've seen him.
Won 1 before.
Yes.
Okay? But to me, even I watched Friday night, and I couldn't turn it off. Ernestine saying, well, come on, we got to eat. We got to do something. I said, did you see what this man, the show he's putting on? It was at Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit can be semi-dangerous at home, so they hung in. And James goes 44, 14, and 8. And I immediately tweeted, that's the MVP right now. I don't see anybody playing at a higher level than he's playing.
And I was watching the game also, and he just kept getting better and better. You look at him in the first quarter, you're like, well, damn. First half, you're like, okay, it's not going to be, it's going to be one of those nights. And then the third quarter comes around, and he starts heating up. And then the fourth quarter comes around, and he gets even hot. He just, I don't know, his ability to just score the basketball, you look up and you don't realize it. Like, damn, he had 40 points. He had this many rebounds, or he had 40 points. He had this many assists. He just scored. I mean, that step back 3. I mean, we've never seen anything like it, Skip. The step back 3, his ability to get to the rim. Now he's 85% from the free throw line, so you're at his mercy. You just hope he miss. You just hope he miss.
This is genius at work.
Yeah.
Seriously. And it's not the greatest looking body, so he sort of plays above his physique, you know, like you're saying.
It's Skip, he leads the league in minutes. He's averaging 38 minutes a game.
Leads the league in minutes. And he plays hard every minute.
I don't know how he does it, but like you said, it's unbelievable what he's doing.
Yep.
And his confidence is at an
I ain't got no problem with him saying that either.
No mercy. So I like this story. The Vikings are signing former Cowboy safety Xavier Woods to a 1-year deal. The 25-year-old spent his first 4 seasons in Dallas, starting 48 games over that span. So, Skip, are you sad to see him go to my team, the Vikings?
I am not sad. I am so happy. I am so relieved.
Great.
I say thank you, Minnesota, and good luck to you, Minnesota, because Xavier Woods is a nice young man, but I'm sorry, too often he was Xavier lost in the woods. Too often he was a very unsafe safety. So I will make do with Kazee at safety now, or Kazoo, or whoever you want, right?
Skip, what I don't get about Minnesota, He's not better than Anthony Harris.
I'd say not.
Well, so I guess Anthony Harris wanted too much money, so he probably got, what, $2 million and Anthony Harris only signed a $5 million deal.
I agree. I was shocked that they would try to replace that guy with this guy.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
This guy struggles.
But don't worry about it. It don't matter. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Y'all still in trouble with the Cowboys. It's not like the Cowboys brought in Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu in their prime while you over there yakking it up.
Hey, Earl Thomas is still sitting out there.
Man, you never know.
How many times
Earl Thomas.
Maybe they'll see the light. Maybe he'll play for the veteran minimum.
Earl Thomas is not going to play for the Cowboys.
How do you know?
So many times.
You done said you've been going at this for 3 years. Yeah. Let it go.
Yeah. I'm choosing to be optimistic about Woods in Minnesota. It just needs a new change of scenery, Skip. So thank you very much, and we'll talk about this again. All right, good stuff today, guys. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Bristol starts now. Undisputed.